Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe.
Welcome back, darlings. I'm TV host, entertainment journalist Cognac Wellerlane, and welcome to my YouTube channel. My YouTube channel is all about celebrity Zoom interviews and also girly pink hauls of fashion and home decor and all kinds of wonderful pink items that all us femme fatales need in our house, in our decor, and our wardrobe. Today's interview is going to be with filmmaker Philip Snyder, who is premiering his film Eraser at the Long Island Film Expo, one of Long Island's most respected film festivals. So let's take a look at this fascinating filmmaker, Mr. Philip Snyder. Hello, darlings. Welcome back to Cognac's Corner. I'm Cognac, TV host Cognac Wellerlane, and I am here with a filmmaker, and his name is Mr. Philip Snyder, and his film, Eraser, is premiering at the Long Island Film Expo this weekend. Welcome to Cognac's Corner, and congratulations on having your film being premiered at one of Long Island's very well-respected film festival, the Long Island Film Expo. Mr. Snyder, it's such a pleasure for you to be here today. So tell me, darling, tell us about the synopsis of this film, Eraser.
Yeah, hi, Cognac. Thank you for having me, first of all. And yeah, I want to mention that the actual date of the screening is online is October 7th at 7:30 p.m. So that's the actual time screen. That's the block that's in on the expo. The movie is actually the idea, the brainchild of my brother Rob, who couldn't be here today. He's actually working, but he came up with this idea. He saw a Warner Brothers Daffy Duck cartoon where the artist is upset with something that he's drawn, and so he erases it and changes the plot of the cartoon by erasing. So he thought, what if this artist had power and could change, it draws a picture of something topical, like a news event, and then can change the result of what's happening in the news by erasing the drawing and then redrawing it. So that was kind of the brain, the nut of his idea, the actual kernel of the idea. So that's really what the movie's about. And we see him as a little boy drawing pictures of his brother. His brother's trying to beat him up, hit him over the head with a hammer. He draws a picture of it, erases the hammer disappears. And then as he grows up, he's still an artist, and he has this power, and he draws pictures of events, world events, like, it could be a shooting, or it could be a stabbing or something that he sees on the news, and then he erases the knife and the gun disappears from the hand of the killer. So that's kind of the idea. And it kind of takes it into different situations.
It's almost like he's going back in time, and he's erasing what the future is.
Well, yeah, it could be that too. It could be that too. But it's the main concept is art is being used to change things for the better, to change events, news events for the better.
Wouldn't that be wonderful if that could really happen now with this pandemic?
Yeah, and you can apply it to politicians too. Applying it to how you do what happens with politicians. I mean, if cartoonists had that power to do that, cartoonists have a lot of power, but satirical power. But anyway, that's the concept of it. And
so now, what inspired you to make this movie?
Well, I handle the way it works is my brother. He had the inspiration. Like I said, he saw a cartoon, Daffy Duck cartoon of the erasing of a drawing, and that gave him the inspiration. Usually something that he reads or sees in the news, he's the idea guy, and I'm the technical guy. That's how it works. He says, come up with an idea. Like he saw years ago, you may have seen it, we did a movie called Fitzgerald's Flask, and which was in the Long Island Film Expo as well. It actually won a prize. It won the Best Video Comedy Short. But he saw something in the news about F. Scott Fitzgerald's flask being winning, was auctioned off for $30,000. And he thought, gee, if Fitzgerald, who was broke at the time that he died, could come ahead in time, get that money, and then go back in time, he would at least have died a rich man, you know. So that's what the movie is about. He contacts H.G. Wells, who wrote The Time Machine. H.G. Wells tells him the time machine is not what I wrote about in the story. It's actually a toilet. And if you flush the toilet a certain number of ways, you know, you'll go ahead in time. So that was and that's what we did. That's the movie that we made, and it actually has been very successful. It's still been showing in film festivals recently, you know.
Really?
Yes, it's going to be in another festival coming up, as a matter of fact. But that's a different one. I don't know if I should plug that or not.
That's okay. You can plug whatever you want.
It's being shown in the New York Long Island Film Festival in Lindenhurst on October 24th.
Oh, very nice.
This is a movie that we made years ago, but they liked it, so it's being screened, you know, on October 24th. So.
Well, people do like films like this, like anything with science fiction or horror. It seems to be. They seem to be very successful, those type of films. It seems to be what people's imaginations, what they're looking for. It kind of satisfies their curiosity when they watch a film like this.
Right. I think it's an escape from reality.
It is an escape
day-to-day reality. You know, especially now with the pandemic and all these things, negative things going on. I think that's why.
I feel like I'm in a science fiction movie myself right now with all this going on.
I know. I don't want to go into this in great detail, but I had the virus last April. I got sick from it for about,
this past April.
April, yeah. I was in one of the early cases, but I had a mild case of it compared to other people. I mean, I didn't have any breathing problems. I had a fever. I had no appetite. I had very bad indigestion, and I couldn't eat for a week. I lost about 10 pounds, which actually wasn't a bad thing. But after a week, my fever went up to 101.7. And after a week, the fever receded on its own, you know, and then my appetite came back, and then I was okay, but I was really laid up for 2 weeks.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Well,
do you know how you got it? Do you have any idea?
No, I have some suspicions. It was in the early stages when people weren't wearing masks a lot. This is back in April, and I don't know. There were some places. My auto mechanic. I think some people got it there. I found out later on. I think people weren't wearing masks in those days, and not much, you know. So I was, but a lot of people weren't. So I think that's.
You know, I really don't know if I really believe this thing about the mask, but I do believe this. I believe that if you're not clean, if you're not washing your hands, if you're moving around, like I'm constantly washing my hands. I think that has more to do with it. And you touch your face, you touch your nose, you touch your mouth. I think that has more to do with it than actually wearing a mask.
Well,
I really believe that.
I think it comes from anything. I think it comes from, like, I've gotten colds from sitting next to people on the Long Island Railroad who had colds, you know, and they breathe on you, and then the next day you come down with something, sore throat, and I think it's from the droplets in the air. Anything that prohibits that, I think, is a good thing. So. You know, this is just seemed to be a very contagious situation, although some people that get it don't have any symptoms, which is bizarre. I mean, good for them. They can still carry it, but I thank God that I had a light case of it compared to what, but still it laid me up for a couple of weeks, and then the doctor told me I had to stay in for another week after that, just to be careful.
Yeah, because you don't want to contaminate anybody either.
Yeah, and then during that period of all I did, I was very dehydrated, and I drank a lot of fluids. My brother brought me over ginger ale. I drank ginger ale by the gallon. I was very thirsty all the time, but not hungry at all. I couldn't eat. And then my appetite came back, and I ate like.
Did you lose? They say you lose your sense of smell too.
No, I didn't. My brother's girlfriend did. She had it too. She lost her sense of taste and smell. You know, so you know, there'll be movies made about this.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely.
And this is. I was watching a movie while I had it called Contagion from about 10 years ago, 15 years ago with Matt Damon.
I heard about that movie.
It's very similar. It's very, except
very
in that
surreal.
case,
It's very
people were
surreal.
having seizures and stuff. It affected the brain. But
oh my God.
and they had that was they explained in the beginning of the movie, at the end of the movie, that it was caused by bats dropping onto the food and that went into to fish that went into a restaurant. And it's a very similar. Bats in China. It's very similar, but.
Oh my
yeah,
God.
it's a scary time we're living in, and anything.
Very scary.
You know, my brother writes, his movies all have a magical kind of a science fiction theme to them. We did a movie which was in the film festival, the EXPO, a few years ago, called The Bag, about which you may have. It was about the plastic bags in the grocery store and how they're destructive to the environment, which is true. And how he came up with this idea that they're actually sent creatures from another planet, from an alien planet that wants to take over Earth. And these bags eventually are going to destroy the Earth and take the Earth over and envelop the Earth. You know,
it sounds like the invasion of the body snatchers.
Kind of, or the Blob even,
or
you
the
know.
Blob, right,
Yeah.
right. Which in its day, that movie was like like a C movie? It was like
it was known for being.
People loved it. People loved that movie.
It's become known for being Steve McQueen's one of his first movies. He was very young at the time.
And he was in that movie, yeah, Steve McQueen. So where did this love of being technical and making movies come from with you?
Well, with me, my dad, when I was about 13 years old, 14 years old, my dad used to take home movies, 8mm movies. And then one day he just said, here, you're going to do it. You know, family movies. And he said, you're going to do it. And he showed me how to work the camera. It was a little small brownie 8mm Kodak camera. And he said, you do it from now on. You take the home movies. So what happened is I started taking the home movies. And then my brother came up with ideas. Well, why don't we make a movie? James Bond was very big. Why don't we do our own James Bond movie? So we had little kids playing James Bond and the villains and everything like that. And we had a great time. And we won some prizes from Kodak. They had a teenage movie contest. And we won a couple of prizes.
So you like James Bond?
Yeah, oh yeah. Well, kids, there was a lot of that. We didn't have no sex at that age, though.
I mean, but James Bond, you know, I mean, he was filled with charisma. I mean, the character himself.
Oh yeah.
You know, he saves the world and women love him. And
yeah.
What's there not to like about James Bond? Do you know I interviewed Pierce Brosnan, who played James Bond?
Oh really? No kidding. Wow.
Yes, I interviewed him at the Hamptons International Film Festival.
Wow.
And he's gorgeous.
Is he a nice guy?
I told him that. He said to me, I said, you know, I remember you when you were in that TV show, Remington Steele.
He also was in a show called, I think The Saint. I think that was Roger Moore.
Oh, that was Roger Moore.
You're right. You're right.
I said to him, I remember you when you were in Remington Steele. That's how old I am. And he looked at me and he goes, well, you're gorgeous. That British accent. I said, me? I'm gorgeous. You're gorgeous. Because he is gorgeous. But he's like that's like one of my favorite movies. Now, you tell me as a filmmaker, what is your favorite film besides your own? Do you have a favorite film?
Oh, a few. I mean, I could go on. I'm a movie nut. You know, it's funny. Probably right off the top of my head, I would say Psycho. Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho.
Wow.
Yeah, because it really, aside from the horror aspect, it really works as a movie. I don't know anybody that has seen that movie that wasn't gripped by it. And for me, a good movie is a movie that takes you away from your daily routine and draws you into the story, so you can't think about anything else while you're watching the movie. And that movie does that.
So you like mystery, psycho espionage mystery, like a murder mystery type thing.
Well, another movie is Hitchcock, who made great North by
He was
Northwest.
brilliant, Hitchcock. He was brilliant, really.
North by Northwest, where Cary Grant gets kidnapped and doesn't even know why they're kidnapping him, and he gets taken across the country, you know, you know.
That's with Eva Marie Saint, right?
Eva Marie Saint and James Mason, yeah.
James Mason.
Martin Landau was in that too, you know. Martin Landau from Mission Impossible, you know, he was in that too.
Who was your favorite actor? Or who is your favorite actor?
Marlon Brando, I would say right off the bat.
Marlon Brando, interesting. Why
Great.
Marlon Brando?
He just is a great actor. He can play anything. He's intuitive. He's got great instinct, or did have great instinct. Crazy, completely nuts, but brilliant guy, just brilliant. And but there's a lot of actors. I like different actors for different reasons. I mean, he's an American.
And you like a variety of films, all different types of films.
I like different types of films. I was just talking to somebody at the library, here at Island Park Library, someone named Phil Harwood. Do you know him? He's a film historian.
No, but I'd like to interview him.
He's great. He's doing a presentation on I Love Lucy, and we were talking about Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz. He knows everything. I mean, he knows everything about everything. And I was talking. One of the first movies that I remember that my parents took me to was the long trailer with Lucille Ball and Desi Arnaz.
That was a good movie. That was
one of the first movies I saw as a kid, dating myself. And we talked about that, and he knew all about it. He knew the background of it, who the director was, and you know, we really got it. You interviewed this guy, you can really get into a lot of stuff with him. But
well, you know, they've been playing her movies. Lucille Ball, The Fuller Brush Girl. We're going to play that again. I think this week they're supposed to be playing that again. But we have to learn more about you now.
Oh,
so I want to know a little bit more about this film, Eraser. Is it a featured film or is it a short?
Oh, it's a short. It's only 7.5 minutes.
Is there a trailer?
Yeah, there is.
Now let me ask you, is there a cast in the film?
Yeah, there is a cast. It's my brother's, it's actually mostly my brother's family. My brother's grandchildren are the two. When you see the artist as a young boy in the beginning, it's his grandson and his brother. And this kid is a very good actor, actually. He's a natural talent. And then when he gets older, he's my brother, he morphs into my brother's son. You see a little bit of this in the trailer. And my brother's son, which he's an actor. He is an actor. He's taken acting courses in New York. He's had bit parts in several movies, including The Wolf of Wall Street. And he's struggling in New York. He's taking acting courses. He's a young guy, you know, trying to be an actor, studying to be an actor. And so they're in the movie. We've had in other movies, we've had a lot of different people in it, you know, in the movie, including some professional people, Richard Brundage, and so, you know, we cast according to whatever the type is. And,
is that a challenge always, to find the right people to be in the movie?
Oh, yeah. It always is, you know. And then there's the aspect of, you know, paying them, and you know, whether they're in the union or not. You know, there's a lot of different aspects you have to. But what you have to do, though, is not let any obstacle stop you, because there's always a million reasons why you can't. If you can't get this actor for the part, should we not do the movie? No, then you get somebody else.
Everybody is replaceable.
Yeah, you totally agree. And you bend the story to suit the person that you have. And I always, you know, I'm kind of a what's the word? I make the situation. I try to at least make the situation work, you know, as best as it can, even if it's not, you know, the optimal situation. And then what happens is, I mean, my theory is there's different stages in a movie. There's the concept, there's the screenplay, and then that morphs when you start shooting, because you find out that things you plan to do, locations or something like that, is not what you thought, so you have to adapt. Or you might have a different actor. You have to adapt. So it changes in the shooting. Then when you're editing, you have to make that work in the editing, because now editing is where the movie is put together. And sometimes things aren't the way you planned out. So you have to make that work, you know, in whatever way. And that, since I'm the cameraman and the editor, I can't very often, the editor blames the cameraman or the director. I can't blame them because
always when you're an independent, you always wear many, many hats when you make a film, when you're independent. Now, how many movies have you made?
Oh, God, probably 30 or 30. I haven't even counted.
Wow,
Going back
that
to
many.
childhood, you know, maybe 35 or something like that.
And you'll keep making them until you physically can't make them anymore.
Right. Well, yeah, until I'm too old. I mean, I have problems with my shoulder now, lifting things up. But yeah. I was for over 20 years, I was a professional film editor in Manhattan doing editing TV commercials. And you want to know about me, my brother and I, back in early 80s, we went to California and we worked for Roger Corman, who makes low-budget movies. Yeah, and that was, I mean, he doesn't pay you much of anything. So
you're kidding me? Roger Corman doesn't pay? Wow.
Well, he pays as little as possible.
Yeah, he's cheap.
Very cheap, but that's how he gets his movies made, you know.
No, he makes, I forget what kind of, I've heard his name. What is he making? Do you make horror movies, Roger Corman?
Horror movies, really low budget. But he's known, I mean, his big movies was when he doesn't direct anymore, but when he directed, he did the Edgar Allan Poe movies.
Yes.
You know, with Vincent Price, the Fall of the House of Usher, The Telltale Heart, The Bucket of Blood, things like that. And Jack Nicholson was in these movies, a lot of these early movies.
I remember him. I remember him in those movies.
And yeah, so, and he's still alive. He must be around 90 or something now, and he's still producing film. He doesn't direct anymore. He's still got his company, and in fact, he had during the pandemic, he had a pandemic film festival. I didn't find out about it till later, but where people could send in their movies, and he gave out prizes to people. Movies had to be made, you know, with your own equipment in your apartment on your property, because you couldn't go outside. So that's anyway, which was a good idea. But
I mean, it makes it right now, because of this pandemic, it is very challenging to make a film. It's very challenging.
Right.
But people are doing it. They're making movies on their cell phones even.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, it's
really unbelievable what you could do. But now I do that because I edit my own stuff too. But I also wanted to ask you, now that we're sort of out of time, I just want to ask you a couple of more questions. Now, this trailer, it's on YouTube?
It's on, it's on YouTube, and it's on Vimeo.
Okay, because I want to put it inside this interview, and we're going to take a look at it right now. We're going to take a look at your trailer right now. We saw the trailer, and I'm here with filmmaker Philip Snyder. Tell us, Philip, you wanted to tell me something else besides about the film.
Yeah, the film, The Eraser, this film is going to be shown on the new FILMMAKER's website on Wednesday night at 6 p.m. They have a page on Facebook, which if you go on Facebook and put in New Filmmakers, New York, NYC, it'll come up, and it's going to be shown as part of a block of, I think, 6 films this Wednesday night at 6 p.m. As part of this.
Well, we'll be looking, we'll be watching, and tell my audience, where can we go to find out more information about your film and yourself? What is
you can go to I have a channel on YouTube called Phil's Film, just Phil's, Phils, FILM, on YouTube. And you could just Google in that, and you could put in the name of the movie, you know, The Eraser, or The Bag, or The Eye, or The Driving Dead, which are other movies that we've had in these film festivals.
Philip, you are a joy to interview. You are a wealth of information, and you're very talented at what you do. And I want to thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us here at Cognac's Corner about your new movie, which is premiering at the Long Island Film Expo. I wish I was there to give you a big kiss, but I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Big champagne kisses.
Thank you. You bring out the best in me.
Yes, darling. And we will be back with more celebrity Zoom interviews at the Long Island Film Expo with all the filmmakers. Keep watching, darlings. Big champagne kisses. Well, I hope you enjoyed my interview with filmmaker Mr. Philip Snyder. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It's all about pretty pink girly decor and pink fashions, and it's also about celebrity Zoom interviews. And keep watching. More interviews, more Zoom interviews will be coming up, and more shopping hauls will be coming up. And again, don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Pink champagne kisses.
Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac show. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh. I said Cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm a bubbly blonde, fabulously dressed to impress. One of a kind girl. I was brought into this world wrapped up in pearls. I love to mingle, though my husband reminds me I'm not single. I meet and greet both the famous and the elite. I ride in limousines, drinking the finest champagne, wearing furs, dazzling diamond jewelry. A girl can't complain. I live the upscale life, dining in the finest restaurants, eating the best caviar for free. And no matter how much I enjoy cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. It's been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.